gracious me!
What is going on, guys? TVM here. Welcome to Team of the Week predictions, week number 16. This is either one of the easiest or one of the hardest Team of the Weeks to predict because it's just Premier League, Italian League, and a few other leagues littered around the place. Those are the only two major leagues to speak of, though. So we could see a lot of Championship players, we could see quite a few SPFL players, and of course, there are a couple of big names in here as well. Starting with Neil Etheridge then, from the Philippines and Cardiff City, made 7 saves and a penalty save and kept a clean sheet and was crowned man of the match in a 1-0 win. Our first and what I believe to be our only silver comes from the Scottish League and Motherwell, particularly with Tom Aldred. 2 goals and a man of the match performance in a 2-1 win. Ivan Toney up next of Peterborough. He got himself a hat-trick, and there's a fair few of those dotted around the place. No more so than the player coming up next, but Toney got a hat-trick in what was a 4-0 win. So as I mentioned, yet another hat-trick, this time for Leonardo Mancuso in the second tier of Italian football. He got a hat-trick in what was a 4-2 win. And staying with Italians for the time being, we have Pazzini. He got himself, you've guessed it, a hat-trick in a 4-0 win. Some big results flying around for the very few games that we have, but yet another hat-trick. It's going to be hard to deny the players with hat-tricks because there aren't that many possibles either. A very interesting name, this, in particular, if you're Welsh. I'm not going to try and pronounce his first name because that's ridiculous, but the surname, Mboyo, maybe. He got 2 goals and 1 assist in a 4-2 win. It was very difficult for me to find out that there were actually Belgian games on Boxing Day. I had to go searching for them because they weren't on my usual websites, but apparently they did play, and Mboyo is probably the only candidate from the entire league over the Christmas period. Back over to the Scottish League very briefly, but not for the final time, so fans of other clubs in that league, don't stress yet, because we are going to go to another player before the end of the episode. Ryan Jack, though, up now with 1 and the only goal in the Old Firm. Rangers beating Celtic 1-0. Jared Bowen of Hull single-handedly ruining my bet with 2 goals and a man of the match performance in a 2-0 win over Leeds, who currently reside top of the table. Staying with the Championship very briefly then with Jay Rodriguez of West Brom, 2 goals and a Man of the Match award in a 2-0 win, exactly the same situation as Jared Bowen. I think this would be a position change though, don't quote me on that, and I can't remember what position he will have played usually, but right wing, I don't think that's normal. Having said that though, not a card I think many people are going to use, unless of course you're a West Brom fan. And now we come to what I'd like to call a guaranteed player. This is a player that has done enough that I would find it very hard to believe that he won't be there. LUIZ FELIPE of Lazio, scoring a goal, getting 1 assist, and being crowned man of the match in a 2-0 win. Of course, you can add clean sheet to that if you want. We're still on the subs and reserves, so don't go anywhere because we do have some very high-rated players coming up next in the starting 11. Kyle Walker-Peters of Spurs with a hat-trick of assists in a 5-0 win. This, of course, was the game before the weekend fixture. There's so many games going on with the Premier League and, of course, the Italian League that there's been 2 sets of games being played. Therefore, even though Tottenham lost to Wolves yesterday, there still could be an inform from the game they played previous to that, which they won 5-0. So bear in mind, he's not the only Tottenham player worth mentioning as well. And finally, for the subs and reserves, we have Gaston Ramirez. This would be a second inform. He got 1 goal and 1 assist and was crowned man of the match in a 2-0 win. I think he came off the bench. Don't quote me on that because I'm going off memory from what I did yesterday. I think he came off the bench to do that. So I wouldn't say this was guaranteed, but it's very likely to happen. But for an 84 rated player in the subs and reserves, that must mean we've got some very high rated players in the starting 11. Right, don't stress yourselves too much. This is the starting 11, but it does get much better than this. Goalkeepers are just few and far between because there was only like 4 games on. So, NYLAND of Aston Villa made 5 saves, a penalty save included in that, kept a clean sheet and was crowned man of the match in a 1-0 win over Swansea. Taking me a little while to decide whether I want to include this guy or not. Nicholas Nkulu. I couldn't really decide whether possible starting 11, not sure. Either way, I've put him in there. Cameroon player, of course, from Torino with 1 goal and a clean sheet in a 3-0 win. Looks like a decent card as well if you build into that league and you want some sort of budget defender. Dejan Lovren up next, and of course a very heavily influenced Premier League Team of the Week predictions this week, and it's very difficult to move away from that. So if you're not a fan of the Premier League, I do apologise. There's not an awful lot I can do about it. Lovren got 1 goal and a clean sheet and a Man of the Match award in a 4-0 win over Newcastle. This of course isn't the game in which Liverpool beat Arsenal, although there is a player to come from that. That's going to be later on in the video. Lovren for now is our second defender. I'm going to mispronounce this, and by this time EA may have forgotten about it, but Everton's left back, or left wing back in this case, Lucas Digne, has got 2 goals and a Man of the Match award in a 5-1 win. And again, I'm not sure whether this was the result just gone or the one before. I think it might have been the one just gone. Either way, he should be in there. Taking a little break from the Premier League, but sticking with English players because we can't go too far away. Scott Sinclair from Celtic got himself a hat-trick in a 4-3 win. I believe it was against Aberdeen. I don't have that written down. I'm going off memory. I think it was against Aberdeen. And again, this was before the Rangers fixture, so I find it hard to believe they'll deny a hat-trick, but I also find it hard to believe that they won't give an inform for the derby. So you can expect one from Celtic, one from Rangers, despite the fact that they are from 2 different games. There are so many potential shouts for this spot in the starting 11, but I have gone with Nemanja Matic, and you need to stick around for the possibles if you want to hear my explanation for it, because yes, he's not even the first, second, or even indeed the third player who deserves to be here, but there is a method to my madness. So Nemanja Matic scored a goal in a 3-1 win over Huddersfield. Going a bit out of order with positions, but I felt like I should do this just to build some tension. So we have Milik then of Napoli. He got 2 goals and a Man of the Match award in a 3-2 win for Napoli. Again, I can't quite remember whether this was from yesterday or the previous few days. But either way, that card's been coming for a while actually, because he's been playing quite well for Napoli recently. Back to the Premier League we go. We couldn't stay away too long. Felipe Anderson playing so well for West Ham right now. Definitely the buy of the window, or one of the buys of the window, I should say. 2 goals and a Man of the Match award and a 2-1 win. If you have the one to watch card, you are laughing because this is paying dividends right now. I'm not quite sure how many informs that is, but fully expect another one to drop on Wednesday. Getting down to the nitty-gritty and some of the higher-rated players now. If you missed out on Alejandro Gomez's Footmas card, have no fear, because there is a fair chance you could get another shout here with the inform version. 1 goal, 2 assists, and a Man of the Match award in a 6-2 win. It's unlikely that we get a higher-rated card than the Footmas card. It's also unlikely we'd get a lower-rated, seeing as how he's already 84, so chances are we'll get the same, but the stats will be different here or there. Very similar situation as to this Roberto Firmino card. However, this is kind of poised to be an 87 rated inform as opposed to the 88 Footmas card that he got. His standard card is 86. What normally tends to happen is they'll go up 1 when they're 86 plus. So we could get a Roberto Firmino inform for his hat-trick in a 5-1 win over Arsenal, of course. Mo Salah handing him the ball to take the penalty to complete the hat-trick. And of course it was a great performance. So you can't really deny him the inform, but I'm not sure how many of us will want it if of course you've already got the Footmas card. And finally for the starting 11, but not for the video because we do have a lot of possibles and of course an explanation as to why Pogba isn't there. But Ronaldo has been a bit busy over the Christmas period. 2 goals and a Man of the Match performance and a 2-1 win. I think that was yesterday, one of which was a penalty, but it was still a good performance, and because he has a one-to-watch card, I can definitely see this happening. So if I were you, I would either stock up on inform packs or Italian League packs. So like I just said, stick around for some explanations as to why certain players aren't there, and of course some other potential players, a lot of championship players actually, that may or may not make the cut. So kicking things off with Scott Tanser of St Johnstone in the Scottish League, of course, 1 goal and a clean sheet in a 2-0 win. Adam Lafondra of Sydney FC with 2 goals in a 2-1 win. I haven't got anyone else from the Australian League because every game was finishing like 0-0 or 1-1 or something. This was the only game that I could find that had any significant shout of a player, and it just turned out to be an Englishman again. So not for the performance against Hull, which cost me money, but for the performance against Blackburn. He scored 2 extremely late goals to win that game for them 3-2. And of course, his name is Roofe. Moving on to yet another championship player. This time it's going to be Billy Sharp. This could potentially be a second inform. He got 2 goals and a Man of the Match award and a 3-0 win for Sheffield United. Normally I would put him in there, but there's just so many hat-tricks flying around. I'd find it hard to believe that he would make it in there over a hat-trick striker. Second mention at this point, really, but yeah, EA, guess what? Vasalko has a one-to-watch card. He's had a few performances where you could easily have given him an inform, and you haven't. So, could this be the week? He got an assist and kept a clean sheet in a 1-0 win over Empoli. N'Golo Kante is a card I would love to see in this week's Team of the Week. Unfortunately, I just can't see it happening. There's no reason for it. I've not decided he didn't do enough or whatever. 1 goal and a Man of the Match award and a 1-0 win could actually be enough for him to get there. And I will happily stand corrected if he gets in there, but I've just got a funny feeling he will just miss out. We're not going to dwell too long on this one. Christian Eriksen with a goal and an assist and a Man of the Match award and a 5-0 win over Bournemouth. Heung-min Son in there as well. It's very much like the POGBA situation that we're going to talk about in just a second. He got 2 goals, but he's already in form, so that's why he won't get it. But Eriksen could get it. I went with Walker-Peters as he had a hat-trick of assists. Eriksen got the Man of the Match. EA do tend to go for the higher rated players, but I don't know. I've gone with the right back, but I wouldn't be opposed to Eriksen being in there at all. And that does indeed bring us on to the Manchester United debate. It could literally be one of 4 or 5 players. Rashford being one of them. I think he got a goal and assist against Bournemouth. He has a Footmas card, so I kind of ruled him out because of that. I mean, there are other players who have Footmas cards, like Alejandro Gomez, for instance, who I've put in there. But because there are other options, I think EA will exercise them. Paul Pogba is the obvious choice with... I think he scored 2 goals against Huddersfield. I think he's just scored 2 goals against Bournemouth. I think he's got an assist in there somewhere. I think he's been crowned Man of the Match twice. That is, that's hands down. He deserves to be in form, right? Definitely. 100%. But he's already in form. And EA don't give back-to-back informs. Oh, TVM, I think you'll find. Last year, Alessandrini got back-to-back informs. Well, guess what? There was a month gap between those Team of the Weeks because of the World Cup. So that's why it happened, because there was a time gap. But there hasn't been a time gap. It's literally last week. He's still in packs right now. So it's unlikely to happen. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I just want to point that out, by the way. If they gave Pogba an inform card, I wouldn't be gutted or upset that I've got it wrong. I would be happy about it because I want him in a red player pick. But still, I just don't think they're going to do it, and that's why I went with Nemanja Matic. But I'm happy to see whatever, to be honest. Any one of those 3 would be decent. It's just a case of waiting to see what EA decide to do. I'm hoping I'm wrong, and they put Pogba in there, they put Kante in there, and they put Eriksen in there. I just can't see it happening, unfortunately, especially if they decide to put Ronaldo in there. It's going to be an interesting one. Let's keep our fingers crossed we get a very good Team of the Week. It's going to be very heavily built around the Premier League, but either way, let's pray for a good one. If you have enjoyed this episode of the Team of the Week predictions, maybe I've left someone out, maybe someone you really like to watch, maybe someone you feel like should be in there, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Till the next time, goodbye.